Hey guys, welcome back to Health, Wealth, and Law. In this video, I want to talk about bullying. I've experienced bullying myself growing up. Compared to people who get physically attacked and insulted expressly and explicitly on a daily basis, I probably may have had a more minor form of bullying, but it was still bullying nonetheless, and it came in various forms throughout my life. And the reason I want to make this video is that I'm hoping to not only like speak about my experience, but also share some lessons that I learned, hoping that, it may give some encouragement to people out there and it may help whoever, you know, uh, needs to hear this, or to whoever, this is going to give some form of comfort or healing, or, something along those lines. So, I was bullied, like I said, in many forms actually throughout my different stages in life. When I was a student in school, like we're talking primary education or secondary even education, people used to make fun of my questions in class, and they used to basically laugh every time I asked a question, or it was common for them to laugh when I asked a question in class. And they used to think or say that my questions are stupid, and that they're useless basically, and that I shouldn't even bother asking them. Um, this form of like mockery, yeah, mainly happened in my secondary education. So in middle school, in high school, and I'm actually remembering. Yeah. So when I went to university, people also used to make fun of me. I was in France for my undergraduate degree, and while I was in France, people used to think that I was weird because I used to have lunch alone. Um, I would say like most of the time, because um, well, usually people in my faculty, I went to law school as an undergraduate degree in France. People in my faculty, they would like go to bakeries and they would get like, like sandwiches for lunch and so on. But for me, that wasn't enough. I really needed like a wholesome meal. So I used to take the streetcars or the tram, and I used to go to like the university's cafeteria and have like a big tray of like, like a meal plan sort of, where I would have a balanced meal and like a bit of everything. And because not a lot of people wanted to have that type of food, there weren't a lot of people in my university who would take the time to go to the cafeteria or the diners with me. So I would end up like having lunch by myself. And so people thought I was weird apparently for doing that. And I remember also in France, I used to do on the weekends like yoga on the park on grass, um, in areas where there was a lot of grass, I guess. So not necessarily parks, but anywhere I would find like a big like field of grass, I would do yoga or like work out there and so on. And I remember while I was doing yoga, like strangers, like people that I didn't even know, they would walk by and try to talk to me while I was doing yoga, or like laugh at me. Um, obviously like probably saying that I'm weird and stuff. And I remember once when I used to like chill at the beach, I think it was in summer. Um, I was meditating once on the beach, and sometimes also like in the sea, and it was the Mediterranean. And I remember like groups of people like laughing at me, like in my face, and making like mocking like meditation sounds and stuff. Um, and yeah, even like when I was doing like my master in law in Canada, I remember there were like two girls who also like would laugh sometimes when I would ask questions in class. And it was very strange, it was very strange to me at that point, because at that point, like, I was very successful and I had accomplished a lot. And in my Master of Laws, I was like a straight A, like top student, like one of the top performers. And the two girls that were laughing at my questions, like, like weren't at my level, like whatsoever. And at that point, I remember it clicked in my head. It was like, like that's interesting. You know what I mean? Like it's very interesting. I felt like, the people who are gonna laugh or who like dislike who you are or what you are, I think that's when I realized that it has nothing to do with you, like the person who's being bullied or laughed at or whatever. It has everything to do with the people themselves. I noticed like throughout my entire journey that people who make fun of you or mock you or like don't take you seriously or like kind of like insult you by calling you weird, making you feel like an outcast and so on, those people are reacting to their own filters, you know, of who you are. And what that means is that you are who you are. Like, I'm sure you're beautiful, you have like amazing gifts. The people who are putting you down for who you are or for your gifts are not reacting to you. They're only reacting to their own filters or images or whatever of what they think or how they were taught to perceive you, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically, I realized that it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the person who is laughing at you, who is bullying you, and who is like whatever. Like, I think they have just like internal struggles themselves that clearly this is their way of like dealing with it. It's not you. It's unfortunate that this is the way that they deal with it by hurting other people, but it's really not about you. I remember like when I was in school and I didn't really feel like the mainstream conventional culture aligned with what made me happy and my interests and so on. I remember like because like we go to school for like almost like 2 decades, it's very easy for us to feel trapped in the sense that like wow, like we're trapped with these types of people for like 2 decades, if that makes sense. And I get that, like I validate that feeling. I think it's very legitimate and it can really like completely shape like your life after school and like your feelings and your psyche and like your emotions and so on. um that being said, the way like I pushed through is that I didn't really care about like what people said and like what they thought and stuff. Like obviously I'm a human being, like obviously in the moment like it's gonna hurt, and it may hurt also later because you're gonna go back to those same people who are gonna make fun of you, and it's gonna be hard because you kind of like expect the rejection and then you actually do face it, you know? And you're gonna go through this like on a regular basis and it's tough. But if you can like find a way to manage to accept who you are internally speaking and keep doing you, like keep following your interests, keep following your passions, keep answering to your curiosity, keep fighting for your curiosity, keep satisfying your curiosity, do your thing. Like don't even pay attention to these people who are like messing with how you feel about yourself. Really don't pay attention to them. And the only way to do it is not to resist them, but to focus on what actually makes you happy, what makes you grow from the inside by pursuing what makes you happy and being exactly who you are. People may not accept you today, but people change, they're very malleable. And things change in general. You never know how the tables are gonna turn. I remember like there are so many, like I'm kind of like the bulldozer when it comes to introducing new things to people. One of them is my family. I've always been like the person who suggests like new things and just reaches out to like new ideas or new ways or of doing things and new paths. And I've always received resistance to like my odd way of thinking or like unconventional and so on. Like, I realize like it's just a pattern, you know? People at first they resist when something is different, and then they start making fun of it because they're not used to it. And this is the way humans are, by the way. Business people leverage this type of like, you know, susceptibility and vulnerability in people to sell their products. They play around, they manipulate that. But basically, people don't like change. And when you introduce something new to them, something that, you know, is about change, they resist and make fun of it because it's so like out of their way. And then slowly, when education starts being more dominant about that thing or whatever, you're gonna find out that a lot of people start changing, and then they start becoming like who you are, and they start basically associating the things that you do and like copying you and so on. So, anyways, the point is that in order to stay sane in this whole process, I found that you doing you, regardless of what anybody else thinks, is what's going to keep you sane and happy, and what's going to show you the light at the end of the tunnel. Because at a certain stage, by you focusing on your own desires, your own pleasures, your own curiosity, your own interests, you are going to get skilled at what you're focusing on, and you will master a certain thing. I don't know what it is. It can be anything really. And there will come a stage where you might even outshine all the people who are bullying you, who are making fun of you, and so on. And the goal is not to outshine them, because you can't give them this much importance. You know, you can't make them your life purpose, you know? The goal is to fight for yourself, for your happiness, for your sanity, for your own growth, and just spiritual like fulfillment. So yeah, just focus on yourself. You're gonna find your own tribe. If you don't find it in school, my advice is to seek out other communities that build on the same foundation, that relate to your interests. And once you do that, you're really gonna forget about everyone else who goes against them. Like, look at me, for example. I'm a lawyer and I'm starting a YouTube channel, and I want to start a blog. I have started several blogs, just not under my name. But the thing that I'm doing here is that I'm putting my face out there, and you know, I'm not necessarily doing something that's very conventional for lawyers. If I were hanging out with lawyers, like, I wouldn't feel encouraged enough to do what I'm doing right now, because most lawyers like look down upon this. They don't understand it, and I don't even care like what they think. But like, I hope you get the point. It's that I am a lawyer. It's important for me to keep connections with lawyers, but you know, you have to find that balance where you have got to pursue what you want to pursue, what makes your heart like get so excited and fluffy and like just, you know, so happy, without giving a damn about what anybody else thinks. Create that path. And you don't have to create enemies, but the more you focus on yourself, the more positive you're going to feel in general about not just yourself but life. And the more you're just going to attract more peaceful relationships. The relationships that don't support you anyways, it's better for them to fade away, and it's better for them to just fall, you know, away from you. You don't need that kind of energy, because you are here because you're meant to do whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel fulfilled, and you are here to excel at it and be exactly who you are, authentically speaking. So if people don't appreciate who you are, then you appreciate who you are by responding to what you want, and doing just that, you know, and growing by doing that. And then maybe if that makes you happy, you know, to connect with people on that, find your tribe or create it yourself. So I hope this helped. If it did, you can like this video, hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to join, you know, our family, and if you want to see more videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button so you can be updated whenever I upload videos. And I'll see you guys in my next video.